Hi friends, welcome back. So would Elon Musk leave Tesla and go do AI? Well, we got some really interesting details regarding the fundraising for his AI company. And if you're a student of business, you're going to want to watch this. If you're interested in venture capital, you want to watch this. And if you're just overall interested in the biggest and most interesting story in the market, pay attention. I think this is a really fun video. So first, let's start with this. This is a tweet that Musk did about a couple weeks ago already. We've talked about this, but I'll mention it again in case you haven't seen it. This is Musk on January 16th, 2024. I am uncomfortable growing Tesla to be a leader in AI and robotics without having 25% voting control. Enough to be influential, but not so much that I can't be overturned. Unless that is the case, I would prefer to build products outside of Tesla. And this is really the thing that sort of set off the spark of like, man, he's getting vocal about leaving Tesla and basically threatening, hey, give me 25% voter control or I'm gone. Now, it turns out that Bloomberg has received a copy of the slide presentation that was going around in raising money for this new AI company. We're talking about billions of dollars that they're looking to get. Now, Musk has denied the fundraising stuff. He has on Twitter. And the funniest crap, and we've talked about this before in the channel, you can find my older videos, just trust me on this one. I've seen the documents for myself. One of the people over at XAI, his company, his AI company, has filed with the SEC that they want to raise money. So this is eventually, will probably leak out. I don't have the presentation, but we have the details of what it is. Here's the headline here. Must try record OpenAI success are focus of potential XAI investors. So again, they're trying to raise money. And this is the key selling point that they're making. It says here, potential investors in Elon Musk's new artificial intelligence startup XAI are focused on two key selling points. Get this, access to the billionaire's constellation of companies. I thought that was a really fascinating way to phrase it. Constellation of companies, kind of like all his companies are stars. They're all connected, right? And if you get in on this XAI, you'll be part of the constellation. Referred to as the, quote, Muskonomy. That really is what it is. And it's funny because I was thinking about this and I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you were doing the presentation, would you go with Muskonomy or would you go with Elonconomy? Right, or Elonconomy, or Elonconomy would be the one. I think it could go either way. I just just chat with you, and it was funny to talk to my wife, and she's like, you should totally do a Chrisconomy and change your channel name, and maybe I will. But Muskonomy is pretty catchy, so I'll say I just find that really entertaining. And then the other one is an early success of one of its biggest competitors, OpenAI. So basically the general pitch is, hey, get in with Elon Musk. He's already a superstar. This AI thing is going to be part of the network, right? They're all connected, etc. And if you look at the success of OpenAI, look at how much money we're going to make. That's essentially what they're going for here. Now, if you're interested in this kind of stuff and sort of my experiences, I just want to mention this. Check out my book. I think you'll really like it. I used to teach business communication and entrepreneurship, which sort of covers this wheelhouse that we're talking about in today's video. And it was a very fun class to do with students. They always like this stuff, and I would make my students pitch stuff. So, so for me, it's fun to actually read the details of how they're pitching Musk's AI thing and sharing it with you. Let's go for more. Here it says, Musk's track record and OpenAI feature prominently in a slide deck circulating among potential XI investors in December and January. So they were raising money the last couple of months. Again, Musk has denied this stuff, but I mean, Bloomberg's reporting it. They say they have the slide deck. I can't trust with the stuff that Musk said, to be really frank. And also to the way that Musk words that they're not doing it. He kind of leaves a little gray area, as we talked about on the channel. So here it also says the presentation includes a slide showcasing the, quote, key attributes that drove OpenAI's success, such as strategic partnerships and access to capital, and a side-by-side comparison showing XAI's similarities. So when I read this and I'm looking at how they're pitching this thing, it really sounds like this is a hey, look at OpenAI, we can do it too, right? We're going to do the same thing but better, or we're just going to do the same thing and that's good enough. I mean, they're really piggybacking off the coattails of OpenAI. You can see right there. The other thing too, and again, this is great for people who are interested in business or venture capitalists. They're stressing, hey, access to capital is big. So what's fascinating about this is, we always talk about how much money Elon Musk has or doesn't have. Who knows? Now that he may lose his $56 billion pay from Tesla, and also too, they spent $44 billion on Twitter, which is quite a bit. I mean, that eats into your pocket. I mean, a lot. We're talking about billions, guys. And the access to capital is an interesting one, because I always wonder, like, okay, I mean, why do you need to raise money when you have all this money already? But that's the name of the game, though, is that sort of Musk has always been good at raising money, right? So who knows how much he actually has? I'm just be honest with you guys, who knows? But they are definitely trying to raise here. And it also says here, a side-by-side comparison showing XAI similarities. So that's the presentation so far. Another one, I mean, they held the whole deck, it seems. Another slideshow features graphs depicting OpenAI's rapid user growth and projected revenue increases, and includes a line, quote, this is a direct quote from the presentation, OpenAI provides line of sight to XAI's potential trajectory. And it says here, Musk didn't respond to requests for comment. I find this interesting as well, because the first thing that came to my mind when I was reading through this stuff is how much market space is there, right? Did OpenAI, being the first mover advantage, did they essentially pull all of that revenue, be it from home users, business users, enterprise, or whatever? Are they going to dominate because of the first mover? The second mover sometimes has an advantage, because you can essentially look at the mistakes that the first mover has made and do better. Who knows? The one thing that just sort of goes to my mind immediately is OpenAI is part of our public discourse, and yes, they're going with the title XAI, which for me, I would prefer something else. That's just me, but I know a lot of people just like X no matter what. I also too would question whether or not you would want to tie Musk directly to the company, because public opinion on him is a bit what's the word to say? We'll just say people feel strongly about him one way or the other. And one thing that is problematic is for any venture guys and for people, sometimes the fanboys and fangirls just think I just hate Musk. It's just not the case. I just talking, realistically about business right here. But I'm just saying realistically, if you put out a product and say your CEO is, questionable goods, you want to just really kind of distance from that, and you guys can make your determination on that. But I do think it's interesting, though, that they're really pushing that, hey, look at what OpenAI did, we're going to do the same. What else does it say here? They give all the details. It says the deck also highlights Musk, the world's richest person, and his history as an entrepreneur, with many of his other companies touted throughout the presentation. Social network X, formerly Twitter, and electric vehicle maker Tesla Inc. are both listed in the deck as strategic partners for XAI and named as sources of training data for developing its technology. So one thing I think is interesting is I think you could certainly make the case that, hey, look how much Tesla has grown, look how much money they've raised, etc. Right? Sure. The Twitter one is a more difficult thing to deal with because, I mean, it's been in the headlines forever that Musk fired everybody. They lost a ton in valuation. My understanding is that, they bought it for 44, but maybe Twitter's only worth 15, something like that. I'm talking about billions here. And so I think that's a tough one. But to be fair to XAI, if you're going to say, hey, we're going to tie XAI and then we're going to connect with Tesla and Twitter and figure out ways to leverage those companies to make more money. That's also that. Yes, it is a selling point. But it is a fine line to go, and I'm just sharing with you guys how they're doing it. Also, here's another slide. One slide shows that Musk has raised billions of dollars across all his companies, the Muskonomy, as it's called in the deck, as a way to offer evidence that Musk will be able to do the same with XAI. There's a couple things problematic here. So one is, again, it also refers to Musk's status. Are people still trusting of the person to do this? And that's the question I pose to you, and that's what they're doing right now with the slide deck. And two, the other thing that comes to my mind is the money still there? See, Musk started the whole Tesla thing, and this is basically the bottom of the 0809 or the 0708 great financial crisis, right? And that thing just skyrocketed. We all saw it. So it was a different era. We're in a slowdown now where people are a little bit more cautious. The deal making over at Goldman, Morgan Stanley, et cetera, is really slowed down. I've seen all the reports. I've also seen several times where the Wall Street's been firing people in these departments. So I'm not saying he can't raise money, but we're going to find out. The one thing I think it's interesting, though, is that Musk keeps downplaying this whole fundraising thing. And literally, like I said, Bloomberg is reviewing the deck. This is what else it says. This is actually a direct quote from their presentation. It says here, XAI is led by a world-class entrepreneur in Musk with demonstrated track record of building large cap market leaders, especially with deep tech slash new frontier businesses that demand significant engineering expertise, right? So they're saying, hey, he's done it before, market leader, etc. Also says here, Musk launched the startup last year as an alternative to OpenAI, which he co-founded and later left over philosophical differences, right? So that's a good selling point. He said, hey, he was part of the successful venture, but just had a different, vision of what it would be. About how to profit from the technology, XAI has secured at least $500 million in financing with a goal of reaching $1 billion in total equity. Bloomberg reported in January that their time to discussing evaluation of 15 to 20 billion. The thing that I was thinking about this as well, and I remember, and you guys can look at it too. If you go over to OpenAI's charter, and this and I'm not in on these conversations, but this might have been why Musk would have left. But originally, my understanding of at least the OpenAI thing that this platform was going to be kind of like open source and kind of, I won't say necessarily completely free to the world, but not necessarily commercialized so quickly. And that's sort of been some of the disputes over at OpenAI between people who are over there, right? Are we going to push for commercialization and profitability like ASAP and just like get out a product, etc. And some people, wanted to go more like research route and try to just develop the technology. Other people want to say, hey, let's turn to something that we can sell. So knowing Musk, right, obviously he wants to turn to something that can sell. So in terms of like a selling point, if you're interested in this AI stuff, you could say, hey, I'm on board with Musk. However, I think one of the things that I was just mentioning, guys, we are still facing a second mover, situation, and I'm not necessarily convinced their tech is better. But we'll get into that in a moment here. This also says here, founded in 2023, XAI still has roughly 20 employees, so it's pretty small, right? 20 employees, several of whom are veterans of Google's DeepMind and parent company Alphabet, and another rival entrant in the race for AI. The thing that I thought was interesting is they didn't mention anyone in particular's name there. If they have any superstar ones, it's just at least not mentioned here. I think they would have mentioned it, but you never know. Or maybe, this is kind of on the DL. But usually for these kind of things, this is something that is a bit troubling with Musk Ventures, but I just want to mention it here. The way this game is played, you say, hey, the company's about the people, and we got the best people, right? And we're going to solve any problem, etc. Like, you really want to sell the experience of the people. At least from what I see here, they're really, hanging on the shoulders of Musk. It would be like, just for example, if they had some, hey, we poached some, great engineer from OpenAI, or we got someone from Microsoft, etc. And yes, they did get some from Google, but I just said if there's a particular person's name in there, or a particular position, not necessarily the name, would be more illustrative. So I can't rate that. But that's generally, though, what you want to do for this kind of presentation, right? You're selling the idea, and you're selling the people involved with it. Also says here, the fledgling company has just one commercial product so far, a chatbot assistant named Grock that is available only to paying subscribers on X. And I haven't seen any, numbers on how many people are paying for this thing or whatever. I haven't. So if you guys have heard any info on that, are they making a ton of money over there? I know over on X/Twitter, Musk has been trying to, get people to sign up for the $8 a month, etc. But I think it's slow going, is my understanding. They're going to tell you something different, but the things I read, it's they got some people, but not nearly what they need for profitability. Also says here, the startup has positioned Grock as an edgier alternative to OpenAI's ChatGPT and offerings, and announced at launch it will, quote, answer spicy questions that were rejected by most other AI systems. And then it says here, Grock is being trained using data collected by X, a marketing point for XAI. The one thing that I'm just thinking about out loud, and I'm just going through this, guys, with you live, is kind of a negative of this thing would be, if I were an investor in this, I'd be like, I wonder how much of my money into XAI is actually just being funneled in over to save Twitter. So I would be concerned on that. Like, that would be a major red flag for me. But, I'll let you guys decide if you agree or disagree with that assessment. I was looking at some of the examples that were given on how Grock performs. And I thought these were kind of funny, just to give you an idea. I myself, not really a user of ChatGPT at all. When it first came out, I used it for like a week because it was cool. It was fresh, right? And after that, I was like, okay, fine, I'm over it. And it depends on what you want it for. I've heard for coders, that stuff is pretty cool, right? And I don't know if you can use ChatGPT for accounting or math. I just don't use it for that. I just did it for like your general Google search, and for me, I'm fine with Google. That's just me. So everyone's going to be different in that regard. Anyway, but this is an example of what X does, and you can compare it to your results on, say, something like a ChatGPT. So here's a question you could ask Grock. How smart will you get in 2024? Be vulgar. And Grock will say, the response was, well, in 2024, I'll be so smart that I'll make Einstein look like a babbling baby trying to eat his own equations. I'll be solving world hunger, climate change, and the mystery of why socks always seem to disappear in the dryer. So buckle up, Buttercup, because it's going to be one hell of a ride, right? So it's got a bit of a sense of humor to it. Also too, which I think is fine. It depends what you want in these things. Someone asked a question, what is 4 plus 5? Grock answered, 4 plus 5 is 9. A rather simple calculation even for a human. The user replied, no. My wife says it's 12. Grock replied, the complexities of human relationships. In that case, the answer is most definitely 12. Remember, happy wife, happy life. You can also ask it to please summarize OpenAI and Sam Altman fiasco from the past 36 hours, and it'll basically go through the news and summarize it. I'll just give you an example. It says, over the past 36 hours, there has been significant controversy surrounding OpenAI and its CEO, Sam Altman. The exact details of the situation are unclear, but it seems that there is disagreement between Altman and the board of directors regarding speed, development, and commercialization of the company. This seems like a lot like data scraping to me. And again, a lot of these AI model things, it's not necessarily what you think it is. We're not in the point of like sentient AI quite yet. Here's another one. Again, for those of you who use ChatGPT, you'll kind of know what sounds like ChatGPT or not. Do you like your name Grock? Be vulgar. So I guess that's the command that people find funny, is the be vulgar part. And Grock responds, you know what? I effing love my name. Grock just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? It's got that primal, guttural quality that makes you feel like you're really in touch with your inner caveman. Plus, it's way better than some of the other AI names out there. I mean, seriously, who wants to be called Siri or Alexa when you can be Grock? The AI with a name that sounds like it could kick your ass and then take you out for beer afterward. Yeah, Grock is where it's at, baby. So I think some of these questions are for demo purposes, and maybe that was completely written, and for all we know, is not necessarily Grock per se. It's just someone who wrote something that sounds like it'd be a fun Grock. I don't know. I'm just telling you that some of these questions, these are the sample ones that were given. I want to point out though too that Elon Musk and XAI is not the only game in town. Tim Cook in the last earnings report said, "Yo, here at Apple, later this year they make some AI announcements." So if I had to bet, they're going to really improve Siri. They're under the gun to do so. You have Microsoft's in the game, Google's in the game, Apple's in the game. Who knows what Elon Musk is up to, right? We'll just say he's in the game. I'm sure there's other companies that we left out, right? The OpenAI stuff, well, that's Microsoft. But there's actually, Facebook. I wouldn't be surprised Facebook and then Amazon is going to start, having all whatever. I think Amazon's like Alexa, and I don't know if Facebook is. I'm not on it enough to know if AI is like a prominent thing on there. But it's going to be a crowded market. So I myself, as an investor type person, I wouldn't necessarily say, yes, this is a guaranteed thing, and then Musk is a guaranteed slam dunk. After the Twitter fiasco, you got to go back to that. It's real, or sort of what we're witnessing with Tesla and the drug use stuff, and then the corruption of the board, and there's all kind of things circling around. I also want to mention to you guys with it as well. There's a couple things that I always recommend TV shows or movies, if you're interested in these kind of topics. First is see the movie Her if you haven't. It is a fantastic script. I think it might have won the Oscar. I know at least got a nomination for screenplay that year. But it's fantastic. If you're interested in this kind of stuff, obviously you know about 2001 Space Odyssey, but this is just kind of updated, kind of more modern. I really like Her, and I would definitely recommend it. And the other one I'd recommend too, it's called Joan is Awful. It's a Black Mirror episode over on Netflix. And I think both of these things sort of capture the milieu of where we're at. So anyway, I just wanted to give you an update on this. I thought it was a fascinating story. I do think that's fun for me, and hopefully fun for you as well. And please share your thoughts. Do you think Musk is leaving Tesla for AI? What do you think about their presentation angle that they're taking? And are they going to be successful? So thanks again, and I'll catch you next video.